Welcome everybody. Welcome to CTM Sports. Say I know it's a little late, but it's been a long day today, so I had to start at this time. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting that subscribe button. Thanks to everybody. Wrong button. Thanks for everybody who been watching the show. Make sure you leave some comments, subscribe, engage. Let me know what you think. Got some cool topics for you today. And with that being said, let's get right into the topics. Like I say, thanks everybody for watching. Let's get into the show. Baron Davis was on the podcast with Mello and I think Mero. And he took some subliminal shots at JJ Redick. And let me know what you think. I want to watch the video, but I don't want to get dinged for it. But pretty much, Baron Davis said JJ Redick was making a criticism about the Jerry West era, that he was playing against plumbers and construction workers. And Baron Davis clapped back and said, imagine if JJ Redick had to work a job and work out of playing the NBA, would he have made it? Because all JJ Redick had to do was work out, and he still wasn't on Jerry West's level. So he was saying JJ Redick had all the tools, he had all the workouts, but he still wasn't on that caliber level of a Jerry West. But Jerry West was playing against guys who did that and worked a job and played the NBA. He was saying if JJ Redick had to work a job and play in the NBA, would he have been better? And the answer is he would not. JJ Redick was okay player. He wasn't that game changer, that franchise player. That's why he moved around from team to team. He was a good role player, maybe third or fourth option at best, but he wasn't that guy like a Lebron, like a, that top guy. Matter of fact, even when he played for Duke, he wasn't the top guy. I don't think he was. I think he was more like Elton Brand and people like that, like Jason Williams, but he wasn't, that I ever can remember, I don't think he was ever that top guy. But one thing he is good at is making takes and hot takes on podcasts, knowing how to incite people. He's really good at that. That don't have nothing to do with on the court, but I'm saying like now as his post-career, I think he may be better in his post-career than he was his NBA career. I mean, he could shoot lights out great, yes, but it seemed like it just never translated to where he could be a franchise player. So shout out to Baron Davis, man, for challenging subliminal diss. Kind of like Jay-Z, just a subliminal diss, a little nudge. Let him know, young man, you think you was good, but you wasn't that good. And then stack on top of that, imagine having to work a job and trying to be a perennial all-star. So, man, shout out to Baron Davis, man, 100%. Much love. I like Baron Davis as a player. He balled out. And I just think, man, Baron Davis was kind of before his time, but the time he was there, he still balled out. And I like Baron Davis, man. I think if he would have went to the Lakers instead of the Clippers when he got traded from the Warriors, we would probably have a different conversation, but sometimes it's just how the cookie crumbles, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to Baron Davis. Now, before I get into this, I have to say this. Disclaimer. I am not endorsing any candidate or picking a side. I'm simply just having a conversation about strategy and thinking. So now that we got that out the way, the election time is coming. I think they said like 100 days or less. But you're about to see competition like a rhetoric competition, strategy competition, perception competition, money spent, millions spent on commercials and ads, rhetoric going back and forth. I think they said he's trying to dodge the debate. You're about to see almost a blood sport. The kumite. You're about to see that. And you got to be mentally prepared for it. Don't get caught in your emotions and don't let this stuff play with your emotions. A lot of people get real sticky and emotional about politics. And a lot of times for the regular person, do we really know as much as they know? Being on the ground, regular level, middle class, working class, how much time do you really have to know about politics? When you got to go to work every day, you got to pay bills, you got kids, you got to think about them, school about to start back. So I look at this, in my opinion, I just look at it as entertainment. They trying to come at each other in different angles. They sometimes try to make it personal, trying to get up under each other's skin and trying to see who's going to slip and fall and lose ground in the race. So it's like watching like a mixture of basketball, football, WWE, all of those things into one. And then when it gets towards the end, it gets crazier as it gets closer. So what I'm saying is don't get caught up in it. This will definitely be a competition. And it's going to be crazy. And I'm hearing in the news that Trump is kind of don't want to debate Kamala for whatever reason. Looking at this from an objective standpoint, when you think about debating with a woman, like the opposite sex debates, those are tough. A lot of times, it could be a no-win situation. It's gonna be tough to see if they do how can they stay balanced when it's two different. When it's two men debating, it's a little different than when it's a man and a woman debating. Let me know in the comments what you think. But it's gonna be crazy if they do, because the balance of man, woman, male, female, the issues and stuff like that, and the competition of the debate of how they're gonna come at each other. You got an entertainer, you got a district attorney. All of those things come into play. It's gonna be crazy. And I know they trying to pull this whole old DEI kind of deal. But when you think about DEI, from my perspective, think about the fairness of it. It was made because things was unfair. The race was unfair. It's kind of like you start running a track meet, and you start out on the block, but another person starts out on the 30 meters ahead, based on whatever. But they just don't get and you have to almost be as stronger and that's the way you got to counter it. You have to be as stronger, better, and more refined in order to beat it, even if they take it away, because skill level will always find a way or get you to a point of winning. And people cheat. That's just how the game goes. We watch the Olympics. People take, enhancers. People cheat in the real world too. And that's why DEI and affirmative action was created. Think about Trump. Looking at this from a totally objective standpoint, Trump had no political experience. All he had was on TV, had a known face, entertainment industry, and money, and known as a CEO or whatever. And he was able to run for politics. Now you got Kamala, who did it probably the more traditional way, became a DA, kind of worked her way, and was selected to be vice president. But like I say, you're going to see so many angles of how they come at you. They're going to come at you the 40-degree angle, 30-degree angle. They're going to run a cover two. They're going to blitz. It's going to be so many strategies used in these days leading up to it. you have to look at it from a balanced approach, an even keel standpoint. Because if you don't, you're going to play into it. You can put yourself in a bad position of trouble. And I'm not falling for neither one of them. I'm just watching, seeing the competition, seeing the strategy involved. And I hope you do too. And don't let it get caught up in your emotions. So, next topic. Will this USA run help the Lakers duo? I know LeBron James is Captain America. AD out there balling too. My question is, what you think about this? Will this USA run help that duo when they go back to start their NBA season? Because usually the offseason is the most dangerous time for NBA players because you're on your own time management schedule and staying in shape, peak shape. You're responsible for staying in shape for the regular season. So the question I have is, if they stay in shape, no injuries, they keep themselves in shape, and they come back for the regular season, can the Lakers make a run this season? Let me know in the comments what you think.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Because when you think about it, usually coming back off the offseason, AD usually has a slower start. But I'm thinking, or I'm looking at, if he takes this momentum from the USA, stay in shape, have a stronger start, maybe they can make a run towards the end because his body will be more in shape from playing in the USA. But let me know what you think. What you think? Can this help the Lakers duo make a run next season? So, one of my last slides is, do regular people compete against each other?
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
They absolutely do compete against each other. You shouldn't want to compete. You should want to compete against yourself. You should be able to keep track of yourself versus competing against another person, because everybody's built different. Everybody has different advantages versus another person's advantages. So what I would say is you got to be healthy with it, because in my opinion, a lot of people can struggle with their mental health trying to compete with another person when you should be focusing on yourself as an individual. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in what another person's doing. Worry about, if you want to gauge yourself from a healthy standpoint and say, okay, I could be doing this, but don't look at it as, well, if they in first place, I'm in second place, how do I beat them, or I should be better than them? Because you don't know what that person is doing that you don't see to get to the point where they're at, if that makes sense to anybody. So with that being said,
Blake, ready to die.
Is it healthy to compete against another person? My thing is this. When you get past the healthy competition, you start going into the jealousy realm, you start going into the envy realm, and you start going into coveting realm, where you're coveting something that somebody else have that is not even your arena. So you have to stay within the healthy realm of competition. And if somebody's better than you at something, which there will be, you can't be so good at everything that nobody's better than you at something. But you have to be good at the things that you're good at and stay healthy in your mind to keep understanding that I'm good at this list of things, and that's what I'm going to focus on. Instead of trying to focus on being what somebody else is when that's their list of things that they're good at. So let me know in the comments that I explained this good enough, because you could probably make a whole discussion on this, but My thing is, regular people do this, whether it's in marriages, whether it's in careers, or like education, just about anything. Why he got a Mercedes, I don't. That's not healthy. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what that person did to get that Mercedes. You don't even know if they doing it in a way where they can afford it. They may have scraped up money and living check to check to afford that Mercedes. That's why it's not healthy to compete or look at yourself as competition against another person. It's always better to look at yourself. What can I do to get better incrementally? Or what can I do to make the stride to kind of skip, to rise a little bit faster? There are ways for anybody to rise and get better. It's all about, do you want to put in the work and do just that? So with that being said, let's move on to the next slide. And I hope I explained it right. Let me know in the comments. Couple of pick ones. Michael Johnson or Carl Lewis. These dudes were freaking athletes, man. I think Carl Lewis was more of a sprinter, and Michael Johnson was more of an endurance runner. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with Michael Johnson, 100%. Carl Lewis was great. Definitely was full of swag. You dude was crazy. But I like Michael Johnson, man. He came in. I mean, he had his way of flash and swag, but he didn't do a whole bunch of talking. He just came in, did his job. Like, he had the flash with the gold cleats, as you see right there. I think everybody that ran track, even dudes that didn't run track, wanted the gold cleats. I know I wanted some. I couldn't afford them, but I wanted some. And he had that running style where he just run up and down. It was cold, but he had the form and everything, and the little mustache, that little line mustache, man. But Michael Johnson was cold. I like Michael Johnson better than Carl Lewis. Carl Lewis was good too, but Carl Lewis though, he did have the flash too. I remember he was running against, I think it was Ben Johnson. It was on steroids or something. And Ben Johnson beat him. Right after Ben Johnson beat him, he's like, nah, test him right now. Test him. Ain't no way he can beat me. Test him. And he later tested positive for PEDs, but Carl Lewis was cold too. He was cold too. But that national anthem was not cold. Look that up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look that up. So, I think this is my last one. We're talking about boxing. James Toney or Bernard Hopkins. James Toney, especially the young James Toney, man, dude was cold, man. That Philly shell, oh my God, Floyd did the Philly shell, but he did it from more of a defensive standpoint. James Toney did the Philly shell. He was defensive and he was offensive as well. He was knocking dudes down with that Philly shell, and he was fighting dudes in the phone booth, and you couldn't hit him. I mean, when he was younger, you couldn't hit him. The only dude that really gave him competition when he was younger, I think, was Roy Jones. But otherwise than that Philly shell, man, it was hard he made it hard to beat. B-Hop had one of them boxing styles where he'll maul you, man. He was like the Marvin Hagler, probably 2.0, man. Dude, it's like he had the endurance. Like, he wouldn't stop coming at you. You couldn't wear him out. And it's like he just outboxed you, man. He was just, and it's like kind of like Jason. He had that Jason from the movies, Scared Jason gene. They called him the executioner, B-Hop. But he would just keep coming. He wouldn't stop coming. And I think he said he kind of got his style from being locked up, which also in jail, you got to have endurance too, because you got all day. You're in this place all day. If you fight somebody, you're probably going to be doing it for a while. There's no referee. There's no square ring. You're doing it right there on the concrete floor. But if I had to pick one, though, I like both of their styles, but I'm going to go with James Toney because that Philly shell, man, was, man. And I remember he moved to heavyweight and he fought Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield I think Evander Holyfield was kind of past his prime too, but, man, he dismantled Evander Holyfield with that Philly shell. And go back and watch his highlights when he was younger with that Philly shell. Man, it was hard to beat him with that Philly shell, man. And he would get you in the middle of the ring, no ropes, and Philly shell you to death. You swinging, he dodging. You swinging, he dodging, hit you with that left, bat, hit you with that left, and next thing you know, the dude on the ground. Shout out to James Toney, though, man. I like James Toney because he talk trash, too, and he'll knock you out. So, shout out to James Toney. And shout out to B-Hop, too, because they both was good in their own right. So, with that being said, thanks for watching the Sports Podcast. Thanks for watching the Thinking Game Podcast. And if you haven't watched the Thinking Game Podcast, go and watch that as well, as we talk about topics that regular people deal with. And we talk about, if we could go back and talk to our young selves, our youth out there, what could we give them to help them navigate this life? Because life is a thinking game, and that's how we look at it. You got to think and make good decisions in order to get ahead. And with that being said, thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. Help us grow. I think we're like 200 something subscribers. Help us. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, guys, so we can get money and invest and make more content. So help us grow. We're not asking for money. We're just asking for your subscription. Help us grow. Help us get monetized so we can invest back into CTM and make more content. So with that being said, I'm going to get ready to sign out, and thanks for watching.
Hey, this is Mike Flair, and bingo, you're watching CTM Sports. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and continue watching. Bottom line, bingo.